Hi everybody, it's Christopher and welcome to Life's Not Over, It Just Looks Different on YouTube. In previous videos, I've talked about the need for better accessibility on public transit, and I've also talked about the need for better communication when you're talking to someone with sight loss and being a little more descriptive in the language that you use so that they can understand what's going on. And today I want to build on both of those topics, talking about a couple of recent experiences I had with the local transit here where I live, and share one really good experience, one not so good experience where communication definitely would have helped the situation much more. First, let's talk about the really good situation. Since I've gone back to work after pandemic restrictions have eased and I've been going back to the office, I've been taking transit a lot more. And as a result, I have been making regular phone calls to our local transit authority to tell them when a bus either doesn't have its stop announcements working or the announcements are too low to be audible to anybody on the bus. And after making numerous calls, I have finally got a call back from a transit supervisor, and we had a few conversations about it, and he understood the importance of why those announcements are there and why it's important to me as a person with sight loss. And then he went the extra step where he offered to come and ride the bus with me so he could hear what I heard. So we arranged a date to do this where he would meet me on the route and ride with me as I went to work. So he actually got on a couple of stops before me, when I was getting on the bus that day. And then when I got on, we greeted each other, and then we sat and we chatted a little bit, and he was telling me what he had already noticed, but then as we were riding, he noticed it more. He noticed, first of all, that as the bus was traveling over some really bumpy stretches, a lot of potholes and ruts and a few things, that the announcements were really hard to hear through the rattling of the bus. And then it was a bit of a cool morning, weather-wise, so the heating fans kicked in, and they blow air rather loudly, which drowned out the announcements even more. So it was a perfect day for him to be on the bus with me, to be able to hear these things for himself. And he noticed, oh yeah, that gets really drowned out by that. Oh yeah, and yeah, it's only coming from the back of the bus. Where as a person with a disability, I tend to sit near the front of the bus, as most people with disabilities do. So announcements at the back aren't really quite as helpful. That was the really good thing, because he got to hear those things for himself. He said he was going to take it back to the garage. And since then, I've noticed that since that day that we rode together, the bus announcements have not only been louder, they're clear, they're coming from the front of the bus now. So it has been what I would call a real good win for people with disabilities and for all the work I've been trying to do on it. Now let's talk about a situation that wasn't so good. Along the bus route that I travel on, there's a place where there's a bus-only lane where the bus goes down, and there's a gate there. And so the bus pulls up to the gate, it opens, the bus carries on, everybody's happy. But on this particular day, the gate didn't go up. So the driver got out, assessed the situation, got back on the bus, and said he was going to have to take a detour. Actually, he didn't announce that to anybody. He just I heard him say that as he was talking to another transit staff who happened to be there. And then he proceeded to back up away from the gate, go on this detour. But that's where it got really uncomfortable for me as a person with sight loss, because I had no idea where we were going. He didn't actually announce to the passengers that he was taking a detour. He was just doing it. And although because I was near at the front of the bus, I could see him fiddling with his GPS screen, and I could hear him talking to himself about this detour that he was going on. I had no idea where we were going. There were no stop announcements because we were well off of the route now. And the driver didn't say anything to the passengers. Finally, after more than 20 minutes of riding on this detour and having no idea where I was, should I get off, should I not get off, I don't know where I'm going to be if I get off. Finally, we came to a point where the driver stopped. He spoke to another transit employee who was standing at the street corner where we were. And at that point, I got up and I said to both of them, look, I'm a person with sight loss. I have no idea where we are. Have we missed my stop? Are we getting to my stop? I have no idea what's going on here. And at that point, the driver clued in and said, oh yeah, okay, well, where do you need to be? And I told him the stop I was looking for. And he said, oh, okay, well, we're just around the corner from that. And I'm thinking, okay, good. And I sort of breathed much easier at that point. But up until he told me that, I had no idea where we were, and it was very unnerving as a person with sight loss. So that would be the big lesson learned, I hope, that comes from this, is communication is really important for transit to have with their passengers when they have to make these changes, is communicate more, tell us what's going on, and then we can make our own decisions from there. Because the other part that I now realize in hindsight is I probably should have got off the bus before he started on his detour, because where that gate sits is actually not that much further from my place, and I could have walked the rest of the way, which I know some passengers did. They got off the bus at that point and walked, and I should have done that too. But that's a lesson learned for the next time there's a problem with that gate. That's everything I wanted to share in today's video. I want to thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who watches these videos, who clicks like down below, and who has subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for doing so, and I hope you have a wonderful day.